So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to boot up our external Kali virtual machine, and you'll go to the web browser, and then it's just this the first bookmark on the web browser. That'll bring up our topology for this mini hack. So what we see is we have a scoring server, we have our external Kali, and then we've got our team router, our internal Kali, and then our internal web server. And then we also have our team number, which is 10. So anywhere in the topology that you see this like pound symbol, that's just replaced with our team number. So for the external router IP, it's just 172.20.10.1, etc., etc. So if you go over to scoreboard, you can see what services we need to get up for the mini hack. The first one is just getting the router online. So we're going to go over, I'm going to actually bring that topology back up, and we're going to go over to our MikroTik router. And so the first time this comes up, the login is just going to be by default admin, and there's no password initially. So I'm just going to set that. We're not going to do this in the competition, but I'm just going to set this for now to just be password. Okay. And then I'm going to do, oh, actually, let's go ahead and look at this real quick while we're here. In our router on the console, we have hardware. So we have this net0 device and net1 device. Net0 is going to be our external or ETH0. So we want to take note of this MAC address here, because when we go over to our MikroTik router, we're going to do /interface and then print. And that is going to show us the Ether5 and Ether6, which is what the interfaces are named, and then the corresponding MAC addresses. So for ETH0 or our external connections, we're going to be using we're going to use whatever lines up with this MAC address for net0, which in this case is the first one, and then this is of course going to be for the internal Ether6. So I'm going to bring that topology back up so that we can actually reference this while we're setting up our router. So for So for our external side of the router, we're going to do /IP address add. Then we're going to do address equals 172.20. Our team number, which is 10 in this case, .1/16. And then we're going to set interface to be Ether5. And we're going to do the exact same thing for the internal side of the router. So IP address add address equals 192.168.10.1/24. And then, of course, the interface is going to be Ether6. Okay, so now that we've added those, we should be able to now go to the external Kali and then ping 172.20. We're going to ping the external side of the router. And so that will show us that our router is accessible. Let me get this in large screen. So we're going to ping 172.20.10.1. And so yeah, so now that connection is actually occurring. That shows us that the router is accessible externally. And we should now have that first green light open. So the next thing we're going to be doing is going into our Ubuntu server and setting it up so that traffic can actually be routed into the Ubuntu server for our web service. And then we're also going to set up our port 80 forwarding. So to do that, we're going to be using the MikroTik router interface that's with this environment.